everybody, James Bobbitt here, Reliance Real Estate, coming to you with another weekly video. It's already Wednesday. So quick, well, I don't know how quick it'll be. I'm going to do my best to try and explain this as coherently as possible, but the March 3rd primary election, there is a Proposition 13 on the ballot, and it seems to have caused a lot of confusion. I even had to kind of dig into it to clarify what it all meant. And so I want to try and explain that here to you guys today. So Prop 13 from long ago, 1978, Prop 13 was passed, and that was a really great measure that allowed a homeowner to purchase their home and be guaranteed that their annual tax bill would not go up more than 2% per year, even if the actual market value of their home went way, way up. So we've had Prop 13 for decades, and everybody loves it. We'll come back to that. There is something coming up in the November election regarding the old Prop 13, but in terms of the March 3rd primary that's coming up, the Prop 13 relates to a state school bond measure, so it's really completely unrelated, even though there's a connection back to property taxes here in a minute. But the Prop 13 that's coming up on the March 3rd primary is a school bond that the state is looking to issue. From my understanding, boil it down, in order for the state to give funds to local districts, the districts have to match those funds, and in order for the districts to afford to match those funds, property taxes end up going up. So I did the calculations just for myself. We bought our home about 4 years ago. Based on our current assessed value, you read it in your proposition booklet that comes in the mail. We personally, if that bond was to pass, would be paying around $350 more per year in our property taxes just because of that school bond. So just look into school bonds, really kind of dig into that. There's a huge amount of interest that is paid on those over 20, 30 years. So I'm not here to espouse any political opinions or throw those on you, but just look into those and really be sure that you know what you're voting for when it comes to school bonds. So that's Prop 13 on the March 3rd primary ballot. Later on this year, we're going to see a proposition on the November ballot that is looking to make an amendment to the old Prop 13, the one that we all know and enjoy. That amendment relates to changing the way commercial properties and businesses are assessed. So essentially, they would no longer fall into the Prop 13 that we all know, and that those values, let's say there's the Ralph's grocery store down the street, that whoever owns that property is going to potentially, if this was to pass, would see a dramatic rise in their property tax bill. And so that's something else that we all want to think about as voters, because if the owner of the grocery store has a rise in property taxes, he's probably going to pass that rise on to the tenant in the grocery store, and the tenant will probably have to pass on that rise in rent to us, the consumers, when we go out and buy groceries. So just something to be aware of as well. That's coming up in November. There'll be a lot more talk, I'm sure, about that, but I just was hoping to clarify a little bit today about the difference between the Prop 13 that we're hearing about in a couple of weeks and the Prop 13 that's been around for a really long time. So hopefully that's not completely confusing and incredibly boring, but it is relevant and important that we all just really take a notice on what these property tax implications are. So that's it for this week. Thanks. Bye.